दोस्तों इस क्लास में आपको मैं डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड करूंगा 100 WPM पर। एडिटोरियल सेक्शन बहुत अच्छा मैटर है, आपको मैं डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूं। इसकी 80 WPM मैंने DSSB का जो मेंबरशिप प्लान है उस पर प्रोवाइड कर दी है। सो आप चाहें तो वहां से लिख सकते हैं, अदरवाइज आप 100 को लिख सकते हैं। सो आपको डिक्टेशन में प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूँ 100 WPM पर, बी रेडी फॉर इट। द इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम revolves certainly around unfair assessment, inefficacy of the teachers, and ever widening cleavage between teacher and student. I am no expert in the matter, but I belong to the student community whose views are either not sought or are dismissed. My parents shifted from my native village to a nearby town in a quest for better education for me. I fortunately got admission into an affiliated school. As both my parents had not completed their schooling, they could not interpret the homework or project demands of the school. Consequently, I was sent to a coaching institute where the creativity that I had was put a bay. I was weak in mathematics. Ever since the beginning of school, I used to fail constantly, and the teachers said that I am not bestowed with a maths brain. I was pretty much interested in arts subjects, not because I found them appealing, but they earned me marks as I could memorize stuff quickly. Einstein said, education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Well, what I learned were a few gobbledygook chapters which I have forgotten, and alas, nothing remains. In 2011, the CBSE paper leaks reignited the debate on the rudimentary education system of the country. Our education system starts thrusting its tentacles into the minds of students so much so that they start getting alienated from the very system. The notion that garnering marks is the sine qua non for existing on the planet also gets deeper. The marks that the pupils attain from their lower grades will supposedly determine their salary package, soil standing, and whether investing in their education is worthwhile. On the other hand, teachers can work arbitrarily with no regulations prescribed for them. After wading through this, if the students manage to opt for the appropriate subjects and clear hundreds of exams, they will be allowed to enter college, leading to another set of exams followed by more exams. As the students progress a notch higher in their education, the web of coaching gets denser, manifesting in its ugliest form as competitive exams, coaching which have set their own hotspots, quota for medical and engineering entrances, and Delhi for the coveted civil service exam, for instance. In this quagmire, the draft new education policy is the much awaited ray of hope. However, it has already got mired in a controversy owing to the ambiguous three-language formula. However, the proposed system of early childhood care and education and focus on liberal arts, research, traditional languages, creativity, and so on are welcome measures. But the more fundamental questions regarding the error-ridden marking patterns, declining creativity, the proliferation of coaching institutes, and skyrocketing fees remain unaddressed. In Where the Mind is Without Fear, Tagore envisages an India where knowledge is free. Leave alone free education, the standard of education that a person receives depends solely on the financial status of the family. To conclude, I would say if we shun the current approach and work relentlessly to weed out the shortcomings and change the system right from its roots, the knackered system will go and education will come out from hiding. While presenting the budget, Union's finance minister made certain statements on education which drew loud applause from ruling party parliamentarians. The finance minister proudly said that 3 Indian institutions figured in top 200 institutions in the world. She proposed an allocation of Rs 400 crore for world-class higher education institutions and announced setting up of the National Research Foundation. Yes, it is good news because every Indian wants their country to achieve greater heights. The bad news is that she did not say anything about improving the quality of primary and secondary education in the country. Her budget speech on the education sector focused more on higher education than on social education. What are our top priorities? The plight of primary and secondary education in the country is tragic. The problems that plague school education in the country are lack of infrastructure, unqualified and untrained teachers, poor teacher-student ratio, and an unhealthy education system. As a result, teaching and learning do not take place. The condition is the same in most government and private schools. It clearly indicates that the quality of school education is not up to the mark. Right to education is a fundamental right. Article 21A of the Indian Constitution states clearly that all children of the age of 6 to 14 years should be provided free and compulsory education. What is the reality? The Right to Education Act does not seem to be effective. The Act states that schools should keep a 25% quota for students whose families earn less than 1 lakh per annum. Every year, during the pre-budget and post-budget presentation, educationists lament that the country's spending on education constitutes an insignificant part of the gross domestic product. India spends only 4% of the GDP on education, whereas some developing countries spend more on education. It may sound pleasant to the ears when our lawmakers talk of setting up institutes of excellence, achieving top ranks in the world university rankings. But what actually sounds pleasant to the ears are the sincere efforts taken to improve quality of school education in the country. It is crucial that the government sets its priorities and takes proactive steps to make India a truly developed nation in the field of education. The focus should be more on school education than on higher education. Primary and secondary education is the foundation for tertiary education. Strengthening the foundation is the need of the hour. Setting a target of 90% literacy rate and achieving it should be a top priority, as the schools of the future need qualified and well-trained teachers. Teacher training should be another top priority. Without focusing on the professional development of school teachers, the quality of school education cannot be improved. To make all these happen, it is important to allocate at least 6% of the GDP on education. दोस्तों इसी के साथ डिक्टेशन फिनिश होती है और मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप लोगों ने बहुत अच्छे से ही इस मैटर को लिखा होगा। कंटिन्यू आप प्रैक्टिस कर रहे होंगे पिछले जितने भी मैटर्स मैंने प्रोवाइड किए हैं। तो अब मैं आपको अगली क्लास में डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड कर पाऊंगा। सो मुलाकात करता हूँ आपसे अगली क्लास में अगली ट्रांसक्रिप्शन के साथ। तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टेक केयर।